to a good solder joint is you want to heat up the wire. Back out here so you can see. You want to heat up the wire and the lug to the same temperature, and then add your solder. And if they are hot enough, the solder will fill the hole and will spread out and be nice and smooth, and you'll have good flow through the hole, and you can get a nice fillet, which is the solder being smooth on the destination side of what you're soldering. Where you put your heat is called the source side, and where it's going to is called the destination side. And if you do it right, you get a nice smooth solder joint on both sides, and it'll be your best solder joint. You won't have to worry about the joint being cold, so it'll always maintain good connection. And there we go. Now I got the wires coming in from the outside of both. Just the way I like to do it. The lugs are stiff enough that they won't get squeezed together and cause a short. If you're worried about that happening, when you solder the first one on, just put a small piece of heat shrink tubing over that. It'll insulate it if there's an issue. So now what I'm going to do is pull back the braiding here like I did on the other end, and that'll make this harness ready for when it needs to be soldered onto the pots. Okay, now we got our barrel jack installed, we got the tone pot installed, and the volume pot. And a lot of times you'll see people connecting a ground wire to the shielding and then attaching it to the back of the pots. Totally unnecessary. Just extra work for nothing. Because as soon as you mount your pots in the shielding, everything is grounded together. Now this shielding came from StuMac, and the adhesive on the back of this style of shielding is conductive, whereas if you go to like Home Depot, you can buy shielding which is used by homeowners to wrap around trees to stop slugs or snails or some kind of shit like that. The adhesive on the back of that is not conductive, so if you use that, what you're going to have to do is solder each one of those strips to each other. You know, solder the first one to the second one to the third one to the fourth one, so you have complete conductivity between all the pieces of shielding. But I didn't have to do that because I got the right stuff. Depending on the width of the stuff you can get at Home Depot, which is probably what I'm going to be using for the plate, because I've run out of this stuff. If I can get it wide enough and cover this in one piece, it'll be fine, because you know there'll be conductivity as soon as you screw the plate on. It's going to touch. So what's next? Well, let's I may want to cut this pickup wire. Now, the next thing I got to do is attach this ground wire to one of the pots. I could actually just attach it to the shielding and it would work perfectly, but I'm going to attach it to the pots. Hey, how's it going? So I'm back with a giant ass roll of foil tape. They didn't have the copper stuff, so this will work just as good as long as it's conductive. Turn the fan off. Take down here and we'll check for continuity. Yep, good stuff. The big ass roll. How many feet are on this thing? 50.3 yards. So it's over 150 feet of it. All right. Let's stick it to the control cover. Let's stick it to the control cover. Now we'll just trace around it with a razor blade, cut it to size. Much rather used copper tape, but this will work just as well. I would have liked to use the copper tape strictly for aesthetics, but like I said, this will be just fine. And since now I have 150 feet of it, I'll be using this for quite a while. I'm going to make sure the edges are clean. I don't want to see any fold over. Because I'm picky about the little things. Very cool. Alright, let's pick this mess up, start wiring. Okay, we're getting ready to turn the fan off. Getting ready to wire this up. Cover fits nice in there. No binding of the cover in the cavity. Just to be on the safe side, I don't want to drop any solder on the finish. Just tape a piece of cardboard over the top. Although I've never burnt the finish while not using something like this, recording it on video, more than likely something would frickin' happen. Just my luck, you know. First thing I'm going to do is attach the ground wire from the bridge. Take that over here to the tone pot. Trim it up. This is a solid core wire, so don't want to take a chance on scoring the wire with wire cutters because it'll create a weak spot. Let's get Skycam in here so you can look down inside while I'm doing this and you see better. Now, you notice I didn't sand the top of the pot. It's really unnecessary unless your pot is extremely dirty. And these are brand new, so they're not dirty. And I'm using flux, which is a mild acid, which cleans the soldering surface. So sanding it isn't necessary. That works.